Hi everyone, welcome to today's vlog. I've had real trouble actually trying to find somewhere that I can vlog. So you're currently in the wardrobe and I'm sat on the edge of the bed. I've got one of the blinds open and I've got the little light on here because if I go in the other room it's too sunny, and if I go in the car the shadow's on me. So I hope this is going to work. I wanted to do a vlog and I'm going to call it, as you've already seen by the title, Healthy Living in Fuerteventura, because I want to be healthier. I want to achieve my goals, and I thought it would be an interesting process to vlog. So before I get going with all of that, I will be doing still a weekly vlog, but I will also do another vlog each week, maybe with some recipes or some tips about what exercise I'm doing or just general kind of health stuff, because I know a lot of you have followed me since the Slimming World days and I know you're interested in that kind of thing. So I will do the weekly vlog about Fuerteventura and what we're getting up to and showing you the island and that kind of thing, but I also will do the healthy living in Fuerteventura as well. Firstly, I just want to talk a bit about my goals for 2024, and I sat there the other day thinking about this and thinking about what I'd achieved or not achieved in 2023, and I thought, what do I want to be saying this time next year? So at the end of 2024, what words do I want to use to describe my 2024? And I came up with a few words. So I want to be able to say that in 2024, I've been healthy and happy and grateful. I would like to say that I've been organised and motivated and inspired. I'd also like to be able to say that I've been creative and present, well-rounded, connected, but also open-minded and flexible, and that I've learnt some new things. So those were the things for me that were really, oh, and one last one, very important, consistent. So these are really important words for me for my goals for 2024. And with that in mind, I have written down my goals, and what I'm going to do is take some pictures and put them up on the screen so that you can see them, so I don't have to keep holding the book up because I don't think the light will cope with that. So my main goals for 2024, and I've written down 6 of them, and I might add to this as the year goes on. We'll see how I get on. There's nothing in these goals about our house, which we will be getting in a couple of weeks' time, which I'm very excited about. But we're not going to do much to it to start with, because we don't have a lot of money, and also we want to live in it for a while and see how it works and see what works well for us, see how we get on with the weather over the whole year. So far in my goals, there's nothing to do with the house, but that might change. Anyway, so number 1 is to have a good solid morning routine, which includes doing my back exercises, some strength exercises and some meditation, maybe some yoga. Number 2 is to be able to swim 8 widths of the lagoon down at the beach by the Atlantico. That doesn't seem like much, but actually I can hardly do any swimming at the moment because my back is not seeming to like it, so I'd really need to build that up again. I would like to lose 2 stone this year. That's quite a biggie, and I don't know why I've written loose. That is not how you spell lose. I need to learn to spell as well. I'd like to be able to hold a conversation in Spanish and to write a short story or to start a blog. Now, that's not going to be in Spanish because I know my Spanish won't be good enough for that after 1 year. So that's in English. And the last one is to embroider an item of clothing. So they're my main goals for the whole year. And then what I'm going to do is each month I'm going to break them down so that I can work towards each of those goals. So I've got myself, well, it's one of my old little booklets, little notebooks, and for January I've written down, again I'll put it on the screen. So for my first goal, which is to have a good morning routine, I've got down here that I want to do a 20-minute routine every morning, and that's going to include some exercise, maybe a bit of dancing, maybe a bit of yoga, maybe some qigong some mornings, my back exercise, some breathing work and some meditation. And I've left a space there, so week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5 for January, that I can just write down, you know, or tick it for every day that I achieved that. So that's fairly straightforward really. And when we get our house, I'm hoping that I'll be able to do all of my morning routine outside whilst I watch the sun come up, which will be amazing. So number 2 is swim 3 times a week. Now, in the summer, I know I'll easily hit this target, but when it's winter and the pool is freezing and the sea can be quite chilly, I'm not great at going swimming. I don't like the cold water. I know it's supposed to be good for you, but I don't really like it. So this is just going to start me off for the whole of January, 3 times a week I've got to go swimming, and I'm not going to pressure myself to, you know, do some lengths or anything like that. Just get into the habit, get my body and my back used to being in the water again. I know what I should and shouldn't do when I'm swimming. So I'm going to practice swimming on my back because my back seems to like that. And yeah, that's the plan. Number 3, to lose half a stone. So I know I said I wasn't going to be weighing myself, but the time has come. I need to do something, need proper action. So I've asked a friend if I can go to her house every month and get weighed. So it'll stop me being obsessed with the scales, means I don't have to buy any scales, but it will keep me on track towards losing the 2 stone that I want to lose this year. I know half a stone seems quite a lot for 1 month, but I know I can do it, and I really need to make a good, strong start at this. So I will do a monthly weigh-in video. That will be part of the Healthy Living series. And the other thing that I want to do for January for this, towards this goal, is to try 2 new healthy recipes. And I will talk a bit later on in this vlog about food and how I'm going to try and do my diet. So number 4 is to obviously be able to hold a conversation in Spanish, and I mean a simple conversation. So for January, I want to try and do 45 minutes practice every day. So that can include things like doing Duolingo, doing vocab practice, worksheets, going to my Spanish class. But again, it's like with a lot of these things, it's consistency and doing these every day, using what I do know, you know, making sure I'm learning my vocab, etc., etc. So the 5th goal that I had, which was to write either a short story or to start a blog. Now, I did my degree in English literature. I've always loved writing and reading, and I've always wanted to write, but I've just never had time, was working, or, you know, didn't have the kind of, wasn't in the right space creatively. And again, this is something that's going to take a lot of, what's the word? I can't just sit down and write a story, because I've tried and it just doesn't happen. I need to work towards it. So what I've done is I've got some journal prompts just from the internet. I just typed in January journal prompts, and I'm going to do some writing according to one of the journal prompts each day. And I've just scribbled them out. I'll just read a couple of them, because I find if you just journal, it can be very I don't know, a bit samey, a bit self-indulgent. You know, I felt like this, and it's not really for me, but I thought this was quite interesting because if I've written these things down, I will have to do it. So, for example, number 15, a good idea. Number 20, words you want to share with others. Number 3, describe your day in 10 words. That's a good one. Write about a trip you want to take this year. Your top 3 priorities. A project you've been putting off. A person who you would like to meet. Something new to try. So you get the idea. There's various different things for me to write about. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing that I really want to do is to write 4 letters and post them. I really want to get into writing to people again, and I'll start off with my family and friends. I don't know if they'll write back to me, so you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but maybe they will. But maybe if any of you fancy doing pen pal, then let me know. I'll put my email address on the screen. Send me your address, and you know, we'll see what happens. Number 6 is, now I've got this vision in my head of embroidering the back of my denim jacket with like loads of flowers and maybe some feathers, and just I can picture it. But there's 2 problems. I don't know how to embroider, and I'm not great at drawing. So I've got the picture of it in my head, but I don't quite know how I'm going to do it. So to start with, I want to do 3 flower drawings. I want to research how to sew flowers, and I want to look around in the shops and online and things for threads and needles and anything else that I might need to start this project off. I've also kind of on this, like, I want to get back into my art and crafts. I really do. I used to really enjoy it, and I've not done any for ages because I've just not been in a creative mood. So I've also, as well as my journal prompts, I've got some January drawing prompts. So again, this is really good for me because otherwise I just do the same thing over and over again, and I'm never very pleased with it anyway. So again, there's one for every day of January, all random things. So cocktail, something sweet, a tree, medical, fruit, glasses, a ticket, a tube, an activity, outer space. So, you know, these are things that I would never have thought of drawing. And because it's every single day, I need to get a little sketchbook and just do it, just draw. If it's rubbish, who cares? I just want to get back into it. So I'm quite excited about that. So they're my kind of goals for January. And I do like to keep a note of things, hence why I've got a notebook. Anyone that's been watching me for a while knows I love lists. But I've also written down 1-minute habits, just for during the day, because I can be quite good. I can do all my things on my lists and get them ticked off, but there's also little things that you can just do throughout the day, and this really helps me. This is going back to the dieting, because I tend to eat when I'm bored. So instead of just sort of milling around thinking, oh, what shall I eat, I'm going to look at this page, which I've put on the screen for you, for my 1-minute habits. Now, I don't necessarily have to do these all every day, and I don't have to, I can do them for longer than a minute if I want to, but they're very simple things like some quick movement. So maybe to just jog on the spot or do a few stretches, take some deep breaths. That is such a good one. I used to do this all the time when I was doing a lot of yoga. Just do some really like cleansing breaths during the day. Hydration, drink a glass of water. That often stops you eating. Random learning. So for me, that's going to be my Spanish. So I've got some little like flip card things. I'm going to sort of dot them around, probably in the kitchen. So again, instead of eating, I just have a look at those for a minute. I've also got a looking up list. So every time I think of something that I want to research, I've written it, I will write it down on my list, and then I can spend a minute looking up something. So one of the things is, how do you start a blog? I don't know. So that's one of the things I want to look up. A digital declutter. So that's things like, for me, is making sure I delete all the old video clips from my vlogs. Otherwise my iPad gets too full and I can't make the next vlog. So again, that's a really good thing. Unsubscribe from emails, or, you know, delete your emails, things like that. If you've got people that you're following on social media that you don't want to anymore, that can be a digital declutter. Going through your phone, making sure, you know, there's not old apps on there that you're not using anymore, anything like that. My number 7 is a bag activity. So I've got a bag, and I think I showed it to you actually on one of the other vlogs. I've got a reading book in there called Women Who Run with Wolves. I've got Sudoku, I've got code words, I've got word searches, I've got various things in there. So that's another thing for me to just pick up and do for a minute. Send a text or a WhatsApp message to a friend. Draw. That's you know, that's my journal prompts. And the last one is just to stop and just take a minute to be grateful and to be present, because I quite often, I wouldn't say I rush, but I'll, especially, you know, all these sort of list things I want to get done, I'll try and do them all really quickly so I can tick them off. But actually, just stop, look at the view, look at some flowers in the garden, you know, just say, oh, where am I? What am I doing? That's a really important one for me. So that's my 1 minute habits. Again, they might change next month because some of the things will become you know, the norm. That's the idea, is that eventually you don't have to write these things down and tick them off because you do it automatically. So the next thing I'm moving on to is how I'm going to organise my food. I'm sorry about this light, it keeps kind of not the actual light, but I think it's the sun. There's a thing outside and it moves slightly and then you get a funny light. I'm sorry about that, there's nothing I can do about it. So I'm not quite sure yet how I'm going to organise the pages on my food thing, but I've got a page for like each week so far, front and back, and all I've done so far is decided what breakfasts, lunches and dinners we're having. I have left one day question mark on each week because I do want to be flexible and I do want to be balanced in my eating. So if we once a week want to go out for breakfast and we can afford it and it's the right thing to do, then I want to be able to do that, because I can be very, very all or nothing. So I can be like, I can follow a diet perfectly for a little while and not have anything non-diety, but that's not sustainable. And anyone, you know, who's on a weight loss journey, who struggles with their weight, will know this. You can't keep that up, and that's when you then fall off the wagon and eat everything in sight. So I want once a week to have what I want, you know, and so that's really important. The rest of the time, for the first 4 weeks, I'm going to concentrate on having 3 healthy meals, as much fruit and veg as possible, as much protein as possible, and just to enjoy my food again, enjoy making healthy food, enjoy being in the kitchen, enjoy having my own kitchen again. That's the plan for January, and hopefully I can shift a bit of this weight. So watch this space. Then the next thing in my little book is, hang on a minute, I've just got a little list of places that we want to go. So we're quite good at getting out and about, but sometimes we'll be like, oh, well, where should we go? We'll go there again. And then later on I think, oh, we said we were going to go there. So we've just started jotting a few things down, and they, of course, I'll vlog them in the weekly vlog. The next thing I've got in my book is a list of things I think I need. And I call it things I think I need. And I've done this for quite a while actually, because I tend to find that if I think I need something and I can go out and buy it straight away, I will. If I write it down and think about it for a while, often I then decide that I don't need it, or I don't want it, or there's an alternative that I could use. So for me, this is a really good way of not buying too much stuff. So for example, I really think I want a coffee machine. And they were on offer actually in Hyperdino. The Nest, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called. They're like the pod ones. But I mean, I would have bought it there and then. But actually, do I? Or will I just have coffee when I go out as a treat? Because if I have a coffee machine, I then get addicted. And I don't really like those pod things because they're not great for the environment, although you can buy reusable ones. So do you see what I mean? I write it down and then I think properly about it. What else is on here? Oh, headscarf. Well, I've already got 2. Do I need any more? Notebooks. I always think I want more notebooks. We'll see. Anyway, that's that. I've then got a general to-do list, which I'll just jot down any things that I have to do each, in the day. There's going to be quite a lot more kind of admin-y stuff that we need to get done. We need to register with doctors. We need to sort out the car. We need to chase up our bank cards and our TIE cards. So, that's for that kind of thing. And then I've also got another list, I'll put it up there, that is for things that I want to do. So what each week, once a week. And it's just things like, I really like looking for sea glass. And again, I forget to do it. So I've put that down. Tai Chi class, want to do that. Toenails, I want to repaint my toenails every week instead of letting them go for ages and ages and then it ends up looking horrible. Zoom with my mum and dad is very important to me. Doing my vlogging and thumbnails. Listening to a podcast. I really like listening to podcasts, but I kind of forget to do it. So I want to listen to one podcast a week. And then on the other side, which I haven't put up on the screen, I want to see a couple of friends, phone a friend back in the UK, because again, it's really important for me to keep in touch with my family and friends. And the last one is to drive the car, because I'm being a bit rubbish about doing that. So that's my plan. And I am quite determined. I really am. We've finally got here. We're finally living here. And I want to be healthy, be the best version of me that I can be. So I will catch up with you what I'll do is I'll do a review of this thing at the end of January and talk about what went well and what didn't go well and tell you what I'm going to try and do in February. But as I said earlier, I will try and do some healthy living vlogs, so maybe some what I eat in a day or what I eat in a week, or some recipes, or I don't know, just general stuff. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next vlog. Bye.